Hey guys, it's your girl Lady Shake, Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to Falcon and Winter Soldier. We are now on to episode 2, which is called The Star-Spangled Man. So I suppose that could potentially be another name for Cap, but, no one else can be Cap but Cap. Last week, a lot of people, myself included, had a very visceral reaction to the idea of anybody wearing that suit other than Chris Evans, the original Cap, aka Steve Rogers. I think that, looking back, part of me was like, why would Marvel do it? But then I'm like, you know what? I think it was kind of a way to prepare audiences for the fact that there is no longer going to be Chris Evans in that role. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we go from that episode. I think it was a really good pilot. I think it set the stage for what the show is supposed to be about. I think it let us know I think I predicted it pretty well in the first episode, that this is really going to be about the journeys that both of these guys are going to have to now embark on, and making some pretty huge life decisions about where they're going to go from here. So I'm really excited to see how all of that is going to turn out. So without further ado, we're going to get into this episode. But before we do, two things. One, not related, but sort of related. I just adopted. Isn't he adorable? I love him so much. I just have to show everybody. Sorry, but number 2 is, again, you know the drill. If you've been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be able to be updated to when I do reactions to this, as well as all the other shows that I do reactions to. Hopefully you enjoy it here. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. All right, without further ado, guys, let's get into this episode right about now.
Everybody in the world expects me to be something, and I don't want to fail them.
He even sounds like his dad.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
I love you.
Based on the last episode.
Great. It's been great. It's been a lot of handshakes, a lot of suits, a lot of speeches and senator meetings.
Welcome to Cap's life.
Time to go to work.
I love that man's voice. So glad to see him in Marvel. It's literally creepy. That is Kurt Russell's doppel. Like, the man cloned himself. Get it, Grogu. Man, I want to see a band do this. I want to see, yes! Did I not just call it? Ah! Woo! Yes! My HPUs. Yes! Y'all, Marvel getting flavor, and I'm down for it. The seasoning is here.
This has got to be fun, though, coming back to your high school after so much has changed.
Oh, it's great.
He's like, I hated high school. Thanks for bringing up bad memories.
And I think that somebody's being a bit too humble. For those of you who aren't familiar with John's resume,
These poor people are like, how long are we gonna hold up this damn flag? It's heavy.
Okay, I don't have the flashiest gadgets. I don't have super strength. But what I do have
It's hard.
is guts.
Wrong organ.
America gave me hope. Even though I never met him. Killed his brother.
Bucky's like, I'm right here.
You had no right to give up the shield, Sam.
Hey, this is what you're not going to do. You're not going to come here in your overextended life and tell me about my rights.
Overextended? Damn.
So I have a feeling they might be a part of the big 3.
What big 3?
Yeah, what big?
What big 3?
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
That's not a thing.
That's definitely a thing.
No, it's not.
So every time we fight one of the 3.
So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
Right?
Doctor Strange
Is a sorcerer.
a sorcerer
Wizard.
is a wizard without a hat. Think about it. Right? I'm right. I just,
He's right.
I just came up with that.
The way he got so distracted. The scream. No, Bucky. No, those trees did not deserve. Oh, there's the wind out of you. Aced it.
I have all of that on camera, you know.
Get out of my face, Sam, or I'll break it.
Okay, head north. Come on.
I mean, he didn't have to. If he'd been nice, Sam would have given him a ride.
I see a clear path. I say we take it.
Not assassins.
I'll see you inside. Or not.
Hey, come on, man. I'm just messing with you. Come back.
Are you?
Little time in Wakanda and you come out.
White Panther. Huh?
They have to wait. They have to be whiffing some of this stuff. They have to be. This is gonna be epic, but also I feel like it's gonna go really badly. Watch, it's actually one of the bad guys. I don't trust her yet.
Hi.
Guten Tag!
You okay?
I told you not to trust her. I told you not to trust her. In the words of Belle Biv DeVoe, never trust a big building smile. In this case, red hair and a smile. Don't do it. This is why Sam told you to wait. Oh no, not Red Wing! Duck, she is super strong. Wow, they got teamwork though. New cap. Damn, that shield is so sexy.
John Walker, Captain America. Lamar Hoskins. Looks like you guys can use some help.
Can y'all stop talking? Cause that happens. Why are none of these guys falling off the truck? Jesus. But by the way, this fight's amazing. The fact this is happening with two moving vehicles. Whoa! Okay, you know what though? These camera shots are amazing because you know they're real. This is so cool. Aww, tumbling through the flowers like new newlyweds.
Get off of me. You hacked my text?
Sorry, it's not exactly hacking. It's government property. Kind of the government.
He's like, I want to punch him in the face so bad.
Man, I got mad respect for both of y'all, but you're kind of getting your asses kicked to each other.
Who are you?
Exactly.
I see a guy. I'm just trying to be the best Captain America I can be. That's it.
And Kurt Russell. Right here, he looks exactly like his dad.
Without Cap's one minute of silence.
But for real though, y'all should really try to work together because those guys have teamwork. That's kind of why they kicked your ass. Ooh, girl's got some extra problems. Good.
Just Falcon, kid.
Oh no, my daddy told me it's Black Falcon.
Amen. Your daddy is right.
Because I'm black and I'm the Falcon?
Yes. That's it forever. It's Black Falcon till I die. I don't know about y'all.
We met in 51.
If I met you and I whooped your ass, then yeah.
I like Isaiah already.
I'm not a killer anymore.
You think you can wake up one day and decide who you want to be?
Yes,
It doesn't work like that.
it does.
Well, maybe it does for folks like you. I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
Okay. Have a nice day.
You know what they did to me for being a hero? They put my ass in jail for 30 years.
Oh.
Even your people weren't done with me.
I see you.
Get out of my house!
Okay. He's not quite over it, and understandably so. He's every right to be angry.
We're just standing there
Just
talking.
give him your ideas.
No, I'm not giving him shit. We just talk.
Hey, look, is this guy bothering
No,
you?
he's not bothering me. Do you know who this is?
This is so hurtful.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, now it matters. Now it matters.
Thank you without the coppers.
Woo!
I'm
Damn, I'm so proud of Marvel for tackling this. I am so proud of them for tackling this.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for getting him out.
That was nothing.
Stina! Great to see you again.
Ugh.
You gotta be kidding me. You know him.
Condition of your release session now. You too, Sam.
No, it's okay. I'll be out here with
That wasn't a request.
He's like, I'm not in therapy though. How did I get roped into this?
We're going to do an exercise. It's something I use with couples when they are trying to what kind of life they want to build. Are you familiar? It's time for the soul gazing excercise.
Yes!
Thank you.
Yes!
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
glad
turn
this
around,
is
turn
right
around,
up
face
your
each other,
alley.
face
Holy
each
shit.
other.
This is...
Really enjoyed it.
I'm going to.
I don't know how they got through this scene. They were probably dying.
Looks good. All right, get close.
Yep. Touching.
It's a little close. It's very close. That's what you wanted, right?
Guys. Look at each other. You need to look at each other.
Oh, my face hurts. You can tell he wants to laugh so bad.
Are you having staring contest?
They are.
Blink. Sweet Jesus. All right. Cheers. Why does Sam aggravate you?
Oh,
Don't say something childish.
this is hilarious. Thank you for this scene. Whoever wrote it, you're a legend.
That is his legacy. He gave you that shield and you threw it away like it was nothing.
Vibranium.
So maybe he was wrong about him. And if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
See, it's always about you.
I will squash it right now. We go deal with that. And when we're done, we both can go on separate long vacations and never see each other again.
I like that.
Great. Well, let's get
Totally not what they want.
Thanks, Doc.
Where's she now, Walker? Do you know?
No, we don't know, Bucky. But it's only a matter of time before we find out.
Things
Great.
are really intense for you, aren't they, Walker?
Ooh.
Take it easy. Look, Walker's...
Stay the hell out of my way.
Okay. I mean, y'all gave him attitude first, to be real.
One world. One people.
Go die for the cause, loser. I didn't think you were bulletproof. I feel like there was a smarter way to die.
No, he knows all of Hydra's secrets. Don't you remember Siberia?
So you're just gonna go sit in a room with this guy?
Yes.
Isn't that what you just said? Is you guys can go through unofficial channels. This will be it. You. No! Why is it over? It's starting to get interesting again. Okay, guys. Well, that was episode 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And oh my god, this show is turning out to be so good. I have to give a shout out to Marvel, especially in the last 6 to 7 years, right? Well, not maybe the last 5-ish years. Yeah, since around 2015 or so, 2016, Marvel's made a real conscientious effort to diversely hire in their writing staff, in their producing staff, in their directorial staff, and it's showing in how much better this programming is getting with every passing year. And it's not to say that we didn't get a lot of good stuff from traditional white male directors and writers that we typically had in the writing room back in the day, but the more types of thinking and the more minds and experiences that we have in the writer's room and in the directorial chair, we get better storytelling. That's just always been the way it is. And thank God Marvel has wised up and said, you know what, we're going to do things differently because Disney is backing us. And their pockets are pretty much infinite, so we don't have to worry about trying to find investors or trying to convince people why we chose to tell this story or why we chose to hire this person. They can just do it and support it. And as I said, like, it's just paying off in so many ways that I'm sure even Marvel and Disney weren't even sure were going to happen. But the reason I brought that up is because this episode, while being amazing, it tackled some really amazing and very important real-world stuff that needs to be addressed. And I'm going to get into that, but I'm going to leave it till later because it's a little bit heavy, and I know that I try to keep things lighter on this channel. But let me talk about some of the other things that I thought were great in this episode. One of them being, of course, Bucky and Sam working together. Oh my god. Like, they're so funny. Anthony and Sebastian have the best chemistry, and they're capitalizing on it in spades, and I enjoy it. It is so great to be able to belly laugh watching these episodes. And like I was saying in the episode, I swear half of that stuff is probably riffed. Mackie is hilarious. You let that kid go, and he will just entertain the crap out of you. And it's just so great to watch them bounce off each other. And the thing is, they're quite different, like personality wise. You have Mackie, who's kind of like, you know, he's a jokester, he's funny, he's charismatic, but you also have Sebastian Stan, who is a little bit more on the introverted, quiet side, more stoic, but it works for the two of them because they also have like this middle ground that they meet each other on, and it's just a great balance of yin and yang on screen. And obviously in real life they get along quite well too, so I just really love their dynamic, and the fact that what we saw in the movies is playing out here on the small screen just as well, if not better, because now it's actually just about them and not necessarily with all the other distractions of the other cast members. So I'm enjoying that greatly. I laughed so much at watching how you've got Bucky, who's very much like Cap was, in that like he's still trapped, like even though he's been on this planet a long time, he still is kind of trapped in where he was back in the 30s and 40s, right? Like he realizes the world around him has changed, but he's still taking his time accepting it. And a lot of him is still trapped into who he was before Hydra came and messed with his mind. So, he's just so like, I want to do things the way that I did them, and I want to barge in like a bull in a china shop and do things my way. And Sam's like, dude, what you mean? Like, we're in 2021, girl. What are you talking about? There's all these things that can help us that make things so much easier. Which, by the way, R.I.P. Red Wing. You didn't deserve to go out like that. But maybe this means he's going to get some... I'm hoping this means there's going to be some improvements. That the reason we lost Red Wing is because like a new generation is going to be coming at some point, but we'll come back to that. I love that they have that dynamic of kind of the old versus new school. And again, that their common ground is Steve, and the fact that they both, consider this guy to be a best friend, and that they both loved him a lot. And so I just really love seeing them work together. But even though they're working together, they're not truly working together, right? They're still at odds somewhat because Sam is still mad at... Bucky is still mad at Sam for giving up the shield. And we saw him like watching that interview with this new John Walker. He just can't, like, it's just too much for him. I can totally see that him seeing this guy wearing his best friend's suit and just not being Steve is so much for Bucky to take. But the fact that he knows that it was kind of Cap's last wish for Sam to take the shield, it kind of feels like a bit of a slap in the face. And that's why, even though that scene was hilarious with the two of them in the therapy session, I love that in that scene, Bucky was saying he was angry at Sam for not taking the shield, but really what it boiled down to is that he thought that if he didn't take the shield, it was because Cap was wrong about him. And since Cap considered Sam to be a best friend, that must mean that Cap was wrong about Bucky and the ability for Bucky to change and outlive this horrible legacy of death that he created. Well, that the super soldier created, not him. You get my point. So again, right, that whole idea of where it seems like he's angry at Sam, but he's not. It really comes back to something he doesn't want to see in himself, which is the idea that he's always going to be labeled this murderer. And so I just really love that kind of came out in that session, and that what little Sam gave was that, clearly he doesn't feel worthy of carrying that shield and the title that comes along with it. And he's got his reasons for that. So it's a little bit of peering into the minds of both of them. And again, based on what we saw the last episode with Bucky trying to figure out how he's going to live his life going forward, and Sam trying to figure out if he wants to do this whole Cap thing, we both got a little window into the insecurities that both of them are facing right now that are holding them back from kind of stepping fully into those roles. So even though it was hilarious, there was a real point to that scene, and I very much enjoyed that. And then going into, again, working together, those two are not on the same page yet, but hopefully as this continues and they both kind of get over themselves, they'll realize that they'll get so much further in this battle against the One World people if they actually work together, because they could have done so much better in that fight if they were actually working together rather than in tandem, right? They were both kind of doing their own thing. And then, of course, we've got New Cap plus his best friend. God, I already forgot his name. Sorry, but that actor I love. I mean, they're annoying. Mostly the New Cap. He's a little annoying. But I like that the show gave us a little bit of a glimpse into the fact that he's practically ready to throw up every time he goes in front of a crowd, and that he's still struggling with this idea of being the face of America instead of just being a soldier, which he's done in the past. But he also has a little bit of attitude too. Like, I think everyone's coming to the table with a little too much ego and not enough, hey, we're all super talented here and we should really be utilizing this because these guys are really, really like strong and they're actually a formidable force. And that fight that we saw, which was amazing between the two trucks and, you know, with our two teams, what really stood out to me in that is that the One World group, they were working together. They were very much synchronized. They were playing off of each other, and that is why they were able to just hand these guys their asses, right? Because literally, we had one girl, she'd punch somebody, kick it over. Another group was waiting on the other side to kick his ass over here. They threw him to somebody else. Like, teamwork, baby. Teamwork is dream work. That's how you get things done. And so, compared to them versus 4 people who were pretty much working independently of each other, with the exception of New Cap and his buddy, they were pretty much in sync. But imagine if all 4 of them had working together, again, they probably wouldn't have stopped them because they were outnumbered, but they probably would have at least managed to apprehend one of them or something. But they were all doing their own thing for the most part, and that's why they ended up getting their butts kicked. So he was right. New Cap was right in that they do need to work together. Like, Bucky and Sam both have battle experience and understanding of dealing with crazy enemies that these other two just simply don't have and could really benefit from. And conversely, you know, New Cap and his friend are far more like versed in some of the newer technology techniques. Like, you know, they've got their new school things that they can bring to the table outside of the fact that they're also younger and, let's face it, probably in slightly better shape. So as much, of course I'm on Sam and Bucky's side because I've got the emotional connection to them. But truthfully, they both came in with a lot of attitude. You know, they just threw their dicks on the table the second they met those guys. And it was like, you didn't have to quite go there. Like, Johnny didn't do anything wrong by taking the job that Sam gave up. And he doesn't deserve to get attitude automatically just because you don't like that he's wearing the suit. So, you know, they came in with attitude and understandably the boys responded in kind. But they just, like I said, they need to just throw the egos out the window and work for the bigger cause. Because if not, things are going to get pretty hairy. Now on to the stuff that is a little touchier, a little darker that they dealt with in this episode, which again, I'm so proud of Marvel for doing. We saw with the visit to Isaiah, we found out that there was a black man, at least one black American, who was part of the super soldier program. After everything that he did, he was used by the US government covertly to take care of some of the super soldiers and deal with these superpowered people, but he wasn't given any type of repayment or thanks for what he did. Instead, he was thrown into jail where they experimented on him for 30 years. Like, let that sink in. That's a whole lifetime. And we don't know how old he was. Like, he looks like he was still, like, he looks old, obviously, but I don't think he's as old as Bucky, but we don't know. Again, maybe one of the reasons why he looks aged is because of all the tests they put him through in jail, because I thought the super soldier thing kind of was part of the reason why Bucky is not aging very quickly, but I digress. Hearing this horrible tale of 2 different soldiers, and this is so true of how the U.S. military has handled their people of color in the military in the past versus their white soldiers. It's been documented so many times about how black soldiers were treated one way and the white soldiers were treated another, or Asian soldiers, or their Pacific Islander soldiers. Like, there's just more stories that I care to go through in this one, but you know, if you do a little bit of searching, you find out there was a lot of differential treatment and preferential treatment given to others, while other soldiers who gave just as much and shed the same amount of blood were not given the same rewards or glory or even just basic decency after they did their civic duty. And so hearing that man's story, of course, was heartbreaking. Seeing Sam's response was so real about just being saddened and angry and shocked. And, you know, understandably, like, that actor, he only had like 5 minutes of screen time, but he killed it in really letting you know how painful it was for him to lose all those years after everything that he did. And that rage in him is still so real and understandable and very justified. That, and then of course, right after that, Sam and Bucky going into the street and the police showing up, and you already know nothing good was going to come from that. Police come out, hands on weapons almost immediately when they see Sam, talking about, we need your ID, what's going on here. Literally, they were doing nothing but talking in the street. Not saying anything to Bucky, all directed at Sam. Sam's the issue here. Sam's why they have their hands on their weapons. And then asking Bucky, is he bothering you? I see these things and I know they happen, but even seeing it in a fictitious sense is it's so upsetting, and it breaks my heart that my Black brothers and sisters go through this all the time in America. All the time. It's just, and it's exhausting. I'm not even experiencing it, but I can feel the exhaustion that they're going through for them. It's a sad situation, and I don't want to get too deep into it because, like I said, we already know, but I'm just really proud of Marvel for talking about, and I know the comics themselves have talked about racial injustice forever, but for Disney to give Marvel the license to go into this now, when typically they try to stay away from a lot of these things, I'm really proud of. It just shows that there's been some real good decision making and changes in who's in charge at Disney at the top, that they're allowing these types of things and these types of stories to be told, because they need to be. Nothing is going to change until we start addressing the realities that are happening in this world and not pretending that the reality is, if the Avengers existed in the world we live in today, the sad reality is that Sam and Nick Fury and who else is in there? Don Cheadle's character, who I can't think of. You get my point, that they would all be treated very differently than the other members of the Avengers. Like, that's the reality. That's my soapbox speech. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. I won't go on about it anymore, but I really am proud of them for tackling that topic. Yeah, we'll see more as the series goes on. I am enjoying it still a lot. I am really looking forward to seeing how this plays out and where we're going to end. So if you made it to the end of my long review, thanks so much. Go ahead and give this a like if you liked watching this, and if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya!